And I'm just going to share my screen. All right. So again, the whole deal with this is best practices, tips and tricks. What should I be doing? How should I be utilizing this database? And the first thing that I want to point out is just rerunning your searches, making sure that you are consistently logging into the profiles database, checking on how many new physicians have been added since the last time you logged in. So you'll see that here. Rerunning your searches that you use to do your outreach, whether it be a phone list or a call list or an email or a mailing list for a mailer. You always want to make sure that you're consistently logging in, you're refreshing those counts, you're grabbing those new physicians, because our team is constantly interviewing and updating the database. So it should never be a one and done kind of deal when it comes to the profiles database. So over here, you can see we do keep count of how many new physicians were added since the last time you logged in for your purchase specialty. And you can get access to those particular physicians just by clicking the link on the specialty. So those are the two new candidates that I have since the last time I logged in. And likewise, over here, we have the most recent searches, which will keep track of the searches that you've run in the past. But when you click on them, you'll get an updated search that will include any new physicians for that particular year and specialty for that search. So if you click on that, I might have clicked a little too fast, but when I first did the search back in early March, I had 549 candidates, and now I have 554. So I can see just right there, some new candidates have been interviewed, some new candidates have been added. So I want to run fresh mailing labels, email list or phone list or whatever, what have you, to make sure that I am including those new candidates. And Brandon, can you just, talk about the emphasis on why that's so important from a recruiter standpoint?
Yeah, exactly. To better clarify on why would this be a proper utilization of the tool, where there's new candidates coming in every single day. We're having new conversations with these candidates. One thing that I always tried as a recruiter myself was to try to be one of the first individuals to actually reach out and present my opportunity to that candidate firsthand. If you're kind of the first one in the door, you're also the freshest name in the physician's back of their mind. Also, you're kind of beating the competition by being able to reach out to the newest possible candidates. And of course, it's also fresh in their mind that they just had a conversation with profiles, and you can kind of actually use that as a leeway to establish communication firsthand, and that use that as a conversation starter.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a really good point about being first in line, first on their mind, fresh in their mind, and making sure they know you first before everybody starts contacting them. So great point. So just another little area that we wanted to point out as far as a recruiting tool, and we kind of feel like it doesn't kind of get the spotlight and kind of get the credit it deserves, is the program search. And this is a way that you can market to and kind of build a rapport with a particular program and use that as a kind of additional resource in your recruiting endeavors. So based on the specialty you purchase, now, one great thing about the program search is, regardless of the year you purchase, this always gets updated. So you'll always have access to the updated information for a year for each program search. So that's information that you always have access to. So I'm just going to go ahead and click a state here, and we can see based on the specialty and year and the geographic area that I've chosen, I have a list of all the programs available in that area. And then if I drill down to the actual program, we give you some good information here. We offer you the program director and coordinator's phone number and email so that you can make that contact directly with them, as well as all the physicians that are a part of that program in that class. And we let you know the ones that we've profiled and updated within the profiles database, so you can get easy access to those. And it's kind of the same thing as with the physician search. Once you narrow down and you get your list, you can click on the physician's profile and get their information and proceed to contact them the way that you would through the physician search. So again, it's just another way of thinking outside the box and using the information that profiles gives you to kind of create a different marketing tactic and a different approach to your recruiting efforts. And Brandon had a great anecdote about the program search. If you'd like to share.
Yeah. As Andrea was saying, this is a wonderful tool. It's also, of course, included in the same purchase as the physician search. One thing as a recruiter that I utilize this tool as a previous client of Profiles prior to working here is all the residence or fellowship programs that I had within the state that I was recruiting for. I would actually look up their mailing addresses, the coordinator phone number, email address, etc., and I would actually send out goodie baskets to the candidates, whether that was just a basket of cookies or cupcakes or just something with I could also, of course, attach some marketing materials for my position that would also tie back to my name. I actually had a pretty good response from this as far as communication, just for even the residents reaching out and saying thank you. Um, that was kind of the main way I utilize this tool. And of course, even though it's an old fashioned way of doing so, even sending out something simple as a postcard through these tools has been greatly utilized in the past by the organizations that I've worked for.
Great. So I love that. I mean, who doesn't love to get goodies and, things like that in the mail? I mean, I know that certainly would make me definitely want to respond and figure out, who this person is and why they are so great. So that I think that's wonderful information and a great way to use the program search, definitely. So thank you for that. So yes, use the database. Again, we can't reiterate it enough. You should be in here. This should never be a one and done. You should be logging in, rerunning your searches, making sure you're utilizing the most up-to-date information before you make any contact or do any new recruiting. All right, so at this time, I'm just going to stop my share. And Brandon and I, we're going to share our video and I'm going to open it up. I'm going to try to open it up. I'm going to open it up. If anyone wants to hop on or hang on, let's see. I'm trying to figure out how to allow everyone. I'm going to start opening it up here. If anyone feels that they would like to share their screen or not their screen, their camera, feel free. Or if you want to type anything in the chat, that is great too. I'm sure I am doing this in a complete long way. I think I got everybody. All right, and is anyone having trouble not? All right, I do have a question. Oh, let me share my video. Sorry, hang on. There I am. All right, we do have a question in the chat. Sorry, I just want to mention if you do say something or have something to say, if you could just mention your name and what organization you're with, that would be great. So Becky had a question, Becky Borg. In the previous screen with counts by specialist, I saw you had two different counts for 2021 neurology with a date of 3/4/21. Could you review those? Okay, so Becky is saying that on my screen, she saw that I had two neurology counts. They were both run on the same day, but they had two different counts. Becky, that is probably because they were both neurology searches, but I had different criteria in each search. So I probably, I had more specific, maybe area designation, or maybe I asked for visas in one and not in the other. So I probably just had different criteria between the different searches, and it just came up with two different counts. They weren't two identical searches, basically.
And to add to that, I would like to point out too on the dashboard, one reason why that was established is because, of course, in human resources and especially in physician recruitment, you never know when you might actually have to be removed from your desk and go to a random conversation, a meeting, a candidate may call, and you may be logged out of the website. With the dashboard being able to show what searches you've performed previously, what candidate profiles you've actually accessed in the past, you're able to find all that information from your main dashboard as soon as you log back in.
Good point. Okay, Cindy from Tower Health had a question. Is there an ability to download the list of program director coordinator names and mailing address other than labels, like an Excel sheet? Yes, there is.
Yes, ma'am. What you would do is from the actual program search results, you could download the ASCII list, ASCII list, or you can actually just print off the list as well, whether you want PDF or Excel documents. You can also go to a specific program and do it that way as well.
Yep. So on that program search screen, there are, just reiterating what Brandon said, there is the print list and there's the ASCII list, which will allow you to go in and print it in a different format. But yep, you do also have the labels, but you do have those two other lists. You're welcome. Any other questions, comments? I am hoping by now that everyone has my contact information, but as usual, I will send out the recording and any subsequent information following this. So you'll have my information. You're more than welcome to reach out to me at any time. Give me a call, shoot me an email. If you have further questions, oh, I'm sorry, I do have another question coming in. Becky asked, are the director coordinator lists updated annually and when? Great question.
Yes, they're actually updated twice a year.
I don't know the specific like months, or I know it is twice a year. I don't have any, I can definitely find out, but I'm not sure this exact time period, but I do know that it does occur twice a year. Sean is asking, what if I purchased access to a previous year? Can I still access this, or does it go away? Nope, you will still be able to access that previous year, Sean. Absolutely. Anything else? right. Well, again, as I was just was finishing. Oh, nope. Sorry. Yep. Every time I guess I'll give everybody a couple minutes to type. Becky asks, are there any special tips or insights on how to best utilize the search functions?
Okay. Um, I guess just from personal experience on the physician search tool, of course, um, a lot of the medical directors and senior administration with multiple hospitals and health organizations throughout the country want us to kind of find specific criteria related to the search we have. Um, I personally recommend being as selective as possible in your initial searches, just to kind of narrow down specific candidates that may be the best fit. And then maybe not only focus on a blast email to those individuals, also cold call them. Just introduce yourself, even if it is through a voicemail, because then they can recognize a voice with a name. And then, of course, follow up from there with the email. Of course, the more broad the search, the more candidates you'll have, the larger the email will be. And of course, you can't cold call as much as possible with those. But um, with the more selective searches, you actually have great criteria within the search physician search side of profiles. Even with, for instance, if you have a job that you need a candidate that speaks Spanish. For instance, when I was a recruiter, I had a pediatrics clinic that I was hiring for that had a very large Hispanic population in the community. So we absolutely had to have a Spanish speaking individual. And that was one of the criterias that I performed my search results within profiles for. I actually hired that candidate directly out of profiles by using this tool. So.
Great information. And just a follow-up question, what's the best way to try and figure out or find missing email addresses for residents when coordinators or directors' email chains are not consistent?
AMA, there's also, it's through the link that is shared on the program search tool. You can also look up if the actual residency program shares their educational email. That may be the best option if AMA doesn't share. There's also, through that website link to the residency pages, you may actually find a brief bio on the candidate as well, which would also lead you to be able to personalize the conversation that you're having with them and also try to grab their attention. Of course, the data that we present in profiles has came through a direct interview with the candidate, so we're not scalping that type of information off the internet. However, we do provide the direct link to that actual page so that you're able to access it on your end.
Yeah. Wonderful. I'll give a few more minutes. Do I hear someone trying to speak? Okay, thank you, Becky. Thank you so much for the wonderful questions and coming this afternoon. Let me know if you need anything. All right. Anything else out there? And again, we know that it's sometimes hard to come up with things, just right on the spot. So I'm always available. Reach out. We're all here to just, help. We want to make you as successful as possible. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And, even if it's just those, trying to get creative and it's, just recruiting tips and it may not have anything to do with the database per se. We want to be a resource for you to help with all your recruiting needs, incorporating the database, of course, but we're here for anything you need. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out and ask questions. All right. Well, I see people starting to filter out. So again, I will follow up with the recording and, just some follow-up notes for this session. Thank you guys so much for coming. The questions were great. We really appreciate the feedback. I definitely loved having the guests for, our little lunchtime chat. So thank you so much, Brandon. And again, let us know if you need anything, and good luck recruiting. Happy profiling.
Thank you all for your time and attention today.
Thank you.